girly today. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new here, my name is Anna. I post queer, quirky content here on this channel each week, and if that's something you're interested in, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my videos. And in today's video, actually I have a question first. How many of you saw my top 5 Netflix LGBTQ shows to binge during this, I won't say the Q word, but if you saw that video, hopefully some of those shows, maybe either you've already seen them or there were new recommendations for you that you watched, maybe binged, enjoyed. So I figured, why not give you all 5 more shows to watch, but I thought we would go with Hulu this time. I swear right now it's like the battle of the streaming services. What do we watch on Netflix? Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, YouTube TV. Everybody is taking the most they can out of all streaming channels, platforms that they have. So I figured, why not give you all those 5 LGBTQ bingeable shows that you have to watch. Like, there's no question, you have to watch them on Hulu right now. Let's go. So the first show that I want to talk about isn't necessarily queer. Wow, I'm starting this video off amazing, right? I'm like, hi, here's great LGBTQ shows to watch, but this one isn't really that gay. Well, I should probably tell you what it is first. It's Broad City. I definitely think this show is something that a lot of queer people enjoy watching, and a lot of just people in general enjoy watching. It's just like an easy show to watch that's very progressive. It's funny. I mean, it's literally just a show following around 2 hilarious female actors around New York City. Like, they're gonna get into some crazy shit. So it's basically just a show of these 2 women trying to make it, per se, in New York. They're 2 Jewish American women, and it's kind of like no matter how bad, terrible, hard, horrible it gets for them, like, these 2 women are always back on their feet somehow. I think it's a really good show, just lesson wise. Like, you get beat down 10 times, stand up 11, right? Is that the right saying? Get knocked down 9 times, stand up 10. Get knocked up, no. You get what I mean. Something bad happens to you, but you always turn around and you make it good. And you all are probably wondering, Anna, where's the gay part of this show? Well, in the 5th and final season, Abby starts kind of like exploring her sexuality, and she comes out basically as bisexual. And that's like the one queer thing that happens to the actual characters, but I think that the show does a really good job at just queerness in general and like making it really normal. And I also think, which I cannot take credit for this, but I saw that it's really cool that the show doesn't focus around the 2 main characters being gay together. Like, one of them has a queer experience by themselves, and these like 2 women who are potentially pretty much sexually open to whatever can like be friends themselves and not want to like ever get with each other. So I think that's like, it's a good plus, right? So overall, it's funny, it's witty, you will not be bored when you're watching this show, and it explores queerness, New York City. I mean, seriously, what else can you ask for in a show? So if you've not seen Broad City, there are 5 seasons total. It's over with now, but there are 5 seasons total on Hulu for you today. And the second show, I really don't know if I have to do that much explaining for this one, but it's The L Word. The L Word was seriously like my gay awakening show. The L Word and Orange is the New Black were like my gay awakening shows. But this show, like, as good or as bad as it probably is, it's kind of like a rite of passage per se when you're gay. Specifically like queer women or like queer feminine people, or I mean whoever, but those are typically the people that watch the show. But it's just about a group of women kind of varying in ages, but relatively around their same age. Like, I think like maybe early mid late 20s, early mid 30s maybe. I don't really actually know, but they all live in California, and it focuses around the main character Jenny Schechter, which I'm gonna leave a poll. You tell me if you are a Jenny Schechter fan or not. But like, she moves to California and she's straight, and then she meets these women, and then she's like, I'm not straight. And then it just kind of like is her becoming a part of their group, and every single one of the characters has like their own different story. It's gay. I can't can't remember exactly how many seasons there are, but there are quite a few. And the show is not shy per se. There's if you're into some scenes, there's some scenes in that show, which I'm not really mad about. But overall, I have to, like, again, as good or as bad as the show actually is, I have to credit a lot of my coming to terms with my sexuality to that show, because watching it, I felt like I was like immersed into their community, and I felt like I was learning a lot from the show. So it holds a special place in my heart. I love watching it. And also, I'm talking about the original L Word, not the L Word Generation Q, Generation X, Generation Z. What is it? I don't know. Generation letter. I did watch the first season of that though. I don't mind it. I like it. They explore a lot more with different genders, different sexualities, different storylines. Shane is in it, so I'll watch it. I'm not complaining. If Shane is in it, Anna watches it. While Anna's watching Shane, Anna is happy. So there's that. Overall, the L Word, it's like a rite of passage. You know, you kind of just gotta watch it, get through the cringy parts. I think it's good. I think it's worth the watch. Third show is actually quite interesting, and I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but it is called The Harlots, and it is like an 18th century time period kind of show, which is definitely different than a lot of shows, I guess, on TV right now. But it basically is a show about rival brothels that women run and own and kind of compete against each other with, which is an interesting plot in that itself. But what makes it even more interesting is that it's 18th century, so like being gay doesn't really exist then, and it's like about brothels, but it explores a lot of queer characters, which I think is this like crazy intersectionality of like a lot of things you would never expect to intersect. But I think that's the cool part about the show, right? It's gotten a lot of praise through like different LGBTQ organizations. I've read some articles on GLAAD about them promoting the show, and if GLAAD is promoting a show, I would say it's a pretty appropriate LGBTQ show to watch, which I think is really awesome. And like I said, it kind of takes place in this like male-dominated, female submissive type of time period, while still exploring really interesting queer affairs, relationships, topics in general. Plus, I mean, the costuming is A1. I mean, it's 18th century, like beautiful gowns and headpieces and whatever the heck they wore back then. But I do think it's really interesting to see like two 18th century, how many times can I say 18th century? But like to that time period women like making out, you know, it's like not a sight you ever thought you would ever see, but when you see it you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. So if you're interested in older time period, specifically 18th century time period, beautiful costuming queer shows, I would say Harlots is for you. So the next show is more of a newer show, and I have also only seen a few episodes of it, but it is called The Bisexual, and I think that it's specific to Hulu only. I might be wrong by saying that, but I think that it is. And it is about this, what's her name? Her name is Layla, and she decides to take a break from her partner of like 10 years named Sadie to kind of explore her own bisexuality, which is very interesting and a very not necessarily talked about way of exploring your bisexuality. I think a lot of, I can speak on women coming out as bisexual, you probably have dated men your whole life and then you want to explore dating a different gender, but you're still attracted to men, where this is kind of reverse. She goes from dating her partner Sadie to kind of wanting to explore the other side of the spectrum. I'm not gonna lie though, the first couple of episodes I found a little bit dry, but I do know that it's gotten quite a bit of praise. I listened to a couple different podcasts, and when it first came out, like they were talking about how amazing it was. So I do definitely want to give it another shot, and that's why I'm bringing it up in this video, because I think it's definitely worth the watch. But it doesn't mean it can't pick up, and I'm sure that it does because of the reviews that I've been hearing. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just really interesting that the show takes a look at leaving a lesbian relationship and experiencing a straight relationship. I think that's a story that's definitely not told, period, but is probably experienced very often, and I think deserves a place in the spotlight. They do a good job at covering heavy topics while still keeping it as light as possible, and also keeping the show funny. It's meant to make you laugh, but also made to make you think about experiences that you don't necessarily think about every day. If you are bisexual, if you're questioning your sexuality, or I mean, if you're just looking for a great queer show, I think that Bisexual would be a really awesome option for you to check out. It's quick and easy to watch, especially because it's only one season. If you were really bored like me, you could probably get through one season of a show in an entire day. So the fifth and last show that you definitely should give a watch, it is called Workinprogress. It's a brand new show that was on Showtime, but is also streaming on Hulu, which is why it's a part of this video. But I want to read the description on IMDb because it is perfect. It says Abby, who's the main character, is a 45-year-old self-identified fat queer dyke whose misfortune and despair unexpectedly lead her to a vibrantly transformative relationship. Need I say more? The actress in the show is like a Chicago improv comedy person, stand-up comic. Oh my gosh. So I mean, just that right there is gonna make the show absolutely hilarious. But not only is the show extremely funny, it's very moving and is about a queer character that again doesn't get a lot of representation. It's an older actress. She's not a size 0. She's gay. She looks very butch and is the star of her own show, which I mean, like, props to that, which is a main reason, or a big reason, why I think a lot of people should watch the show and support the show. There's also only one season. It's very interesting to see in a show someone older go through all of these different transformations while, you know, there being lessons to learn even at the age of 45. And something like a little trivia piece about the show is that the plot of the show is kind of loosely based around the star of the show, her personal life, which I think is really interesting as well. 100% worth a watch. So did I give you some shows you'd be interested in watching? I hope that I did, and of course these are just my recommendations. I'm sure there are tons of shows on a bunch of different streaming networks that are queer or cover queer topics, and if I did not list off one of your top faves, please leave them in the comments down below. I need shows to watch, and I'm sure everybody else watching this video needs plenty of more shows to watch, because unfortunately we are still in our Q word and I don't know how long it's gonna last, but do your best to stay positive. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my channel, don't forget to subscribe down below and also hit that post notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the times that I upload. I also always premiere my videos, so I'm typically there like 10 minutes before the videos air, and then I'm there the entire time the video is premiering, and during that time I can like chat with you all live. So if that's something you're interested in, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be there. Come hang out with me. It's always a lot of fun to get to chit chat with you guys. So yeah, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.